Today's thought is something that resonates with all of us, and it is this. The first step towards getting somewhere is to decide you're not going to stay where you are. Let me repeat it. The first step towards getting somewhere is to decide you're not going to stay where you are. I'm sure this is something that resonates with all of us. Each one of you who's listening to me knows that this is something that strikes a chord or that sends an alarm bell ringing within us. Why? Because it is easy to stay where we are. Our routine or the daily routine that we are used to is very comforting. It's familiar. We wake up every day, we have our early morning routines, then we slip into work, we do the things we do, we eat the things we eat, we meet the people we know. Even after work, the social life that we have, it is familiar. We go to the places that we know, we meet, catch up with friends that we know. So everything that we do is all known and familiar and comfortable for us. So that's an easy life. But we all know that somewhere in the back of our minds, we all know that that's not enough, because if we have to grow, or if the world, or if life has to be less depressing, or life has to be less stifling, then we all need to do something more, or we need to go that extra mile. But then the problem is that we are so firmly ensconced in our familiar surroundings that we don't really wish to step out of our comfort zone. We just think about doing something different, and then we say, well, some other time, not today. Today, let me do what I'm used to doing. Today, let it just pass like this. I'll think about this tomorrow. So that's the point where we are all at this moment. But then, in the last 3 years or so, particularly post, the scare of 2020 and the COVID drama that unfolded, we've realized, or we're seeing, that everything is changing around us. The way we live, the way we interact with people, the way businesses function, everything is changing, and it's all tumultuous, and all of us are struggling to come to grips with it. And now is the time we realize that, if we have, if we've got to make more money, or if we've got to make life better than it really is, this is the time to step out of our comfort zone. But we don't know how to do it, and we're too lazy to do it. So let me first begin to address the thought. Now, how do you get out of your comfort zone? Now, I think that the first step towards getting somewhere, or to getting out of your comfort zone, is to realize that you're in your comfort zone. And it's not just enough to realize that, it's also vital to realize that as long as you're in your comfort zone, you're stagnating. You're not growing. It's familiar. What you're doing is comfortable, it's familiar, but you're not growing in any way. Life is not unfolding anything special or anything groundbreaking your way. It is just comfortable. You're just cocooned in sort of comfort zone. So that means you're stagnating. So that is the first step, realizing that you're stagnating. As long as you're in a comfort zone, you're stagnating. So, and it's a profound realization, because the moment that you acknowledge that you're stagnating, you're also recognizing the fact that the status quo is no longer enough. The situation that you're in, or the circumstances that you're in, are no longer enough, because that is status quo. So that, my friends, is the point where you begin to think big. Then you realize that, you begin to think, and you begin to question, is this where I really need to be? Shouldn't I grow? And shouldn't I take the next step? So that's where everything changes. And this decision is actually, or this realization, I would say, is actually the catalyst, or the transformative spark that actually ignites your journey. So that's the first step, realizing that it's no longer enough to be where you are. Now, the moment you realize that you're stagnating and you need to get out of your comfort zone, that's when you begin to explore. Then you begin to look around. Till then, you're in a state of denial. You're like, I don't want anything else. I just want this. But then the moment you realize that that's not enough, that's when you begin to look around and you explore. And you begin to think that you begin to look at the different opportunities that life has to offer. And then you begin to think out of your self-imposed limitations, like limitations of age or limitations of gender or limitations of social surroundings or your family or your friends. You begin to think out of those limitations, and your mind is free. Then you begin to explore. Then your mind becomes. Then the world becomes like a canvas, and you begin to explore what you really need, or what is it that the world has to offer. So you begin to explore the different choices. Should I take, is this choice good? Is this choice good? How is it going to impact me? How am I going to react to, how's the world going to react to what I have to uh, say or do? So then life becomes an exploration, a journey. And when you explore, what happens simultaneously? You learn. So basically, that exploration and learning process is you or yourself breaking free from the shackles of your limitations or your comfort zone, and that's where change and progress and transformation happens. So I would call it the it is a commitment to break free from the familiar cocoon and embrace the uncertainty of metamorphosis. That's what I would say, metamorphosis or change, so that you're willing to embrace the uncertainty of metamorphosis, because change is uncertain. You don't know what, it's just a leap of faith. You don't know what awaits you, how the world is going to react to you, how you are going to react to the world. You don't know anything. Still, you're taking that leap. So that is metamorphosis, or change is unsettling and change is uncertain, but you're willing to do it, and that requires what? Courage. So the moment you begin your process of exploration, the moment you begin your process of learning or discovery, that's where you garner that courage to take that leap. And that courage is what many of us lack, because we are afraid. That fear is there in us, about the uncertain, and about, most of us think, that, okay, life is not too bad at the moment. Okay, it can be better, but it's not too bad. So, I know what's going to happen next. I know what's going to happen tomorrow. So, you know, I'd rather not take the leap and, jump into the uncertain. Let me just be where I am. So that fear is always there. But you need to think beyond that fear and develop that courage. Because, life is short. We all know that life is short. We don't know when our life is going to end or how it's going to end. So as long as we have life, as long as we have life, you have the opportunity to explore what that life gives you, what that life brings. Why do you have to deny yourself that opportunity? So I would say that the desire or the decision to transform yourself is actually an investment within, investment in yourself. It's your investment for yourself. And it is a bet on the possibility that beyond the horizon of what you can see or what you know lies a landscape that is so rich with opportunities and experiences that you know you can explore. And isn't that an exciting thought? And that is where, and once you decide to embark on that journey, believe me, there won't be any turning back. You will walk, you will take that leap of faith. And once you learn or discover the possibilities around you, you will decide to act on that possibility. So one or more of that possibilities will appeal to you, and you will decide to embrace those possibilities, and you will decide to act on those possibilities. Maybe not in the exact form of that possibility, but you will adapt it to your situation, and you will act on that possibility. So there comes implementation. So we're talking of a decision to change. We're talking of stepping out of your comfort zone and exploring the world, the opportunities. We're talking of learning from those explorations, and we're talking of acting on those learnings and implementing a course of action that can change your life. So when you implement, what happens? You don't just implement something 100% from what it actually is. You, like I said, you adapt. And when you adapt, you innovate and you grow. So that is where change, that is where innovation happens, and that is where how the world transforms. You might think that you're just a tiny, you know, atom, and you're going to think, how am I going to change the world? Tomorrow, if I decide to do something, that's not going to change the world. But believe me, it will. You know, tiny drops make an ocean. So tiny actions by people in this world will change the world and will change you. You know, the you will realize the possibilities within yourself. You'll realize the possibilities that the world can offer you. So then there won't be any scope for depression. There won't be any scope for boredom. There won't be any scope for, self recriminations or criticizing other people. That life will be full of positivity. Life will be full of possibilities and challenges. And that's where you want to be. You don't want to drown in or wallow in self pity or sorrow or, the days gone by or what the future could be or what the past could have been. You don't want to tread that path. You want to tread a path full of opportunities, full of sunshine, and you know, full of innovation and full of growth, and that will shape the trajectory of your future. And once you embrace this journey, then believe me, it will become this desire to change and this desire to grow and this desire to explore will become a compass for you. It will guide you towards the uncharted territories of personal development, and you will, believe me, you will discover things about yourself that you didn't know existed. You will think, my gosh, I didn't realize I was like that. I didn't know I could do so much. That's when you realize things about yourself that you didn't know before. Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and that step is the decision to move forward. So today's thought is all about the decision to move forward, or that first step to move forward. So, like you, I was also ensconced in my own cocoon. I was also a comfort seeker. I was just sort of reveling in the familiar, but then I decided to come out of it. And this is my first step. So I would urge you today to think about this and to decide to come out of your comfort zone, or to decide that you're not going to stay where you are, that you will take that first step towards a different you, towards a different world, towards a different circumstance. Because believe me, only you can do that. Nobody can force you to come out of your shell. Nobody can make you do that. And even if somebody makes you do that, you might do that just to oblige that person, but you will revert back to your old ways very soon. So only you can take the decision to transform you. And when you transform yourself, you will see that the world is transformed. You will see that people around you are transformed. You will see that situations around you have been transformed. Then you will no longer be the same you. So I urge you today to take that first step towards getting somewhere. And that is to decide that you're not going to stay where you are. I'll leave you with that thought. We'll come back with another thought, with another fuel for tomorrow's journey. Thank you.